From translation, TLB, the Living Bible. This 5th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Genesis 16 to 18. Genesis chapter 16, verses 1 to 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children. But she had an Egyptian servant girl whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "The Lord has kept me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant girl. Perhaps through her I can have a family." And Abram listened to what Sarai said. So Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian servant girl and gave her to her husband to be his wife. This was after Abram had lived in Canaan for 10 years. Then Hagar became pregnant and despised Sarai in her pride. When Sarai saw this, she said to Abram, "This is all your fault. I put my servant girl into your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me." But Abram replied, "She is your servant, so do as you wish with her." So Sarai treated Hagar harshly, and she ran away. But the Lord's angel found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the road to Shur. And he asked Hagar, Sarai's servant girl, "Where have you come from? Where are you going?" She answered, "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai." Then the Lord's angel told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her authority." The Lord's angel added, "I will give you so many descendants that they cannot be counted." Then the angel said, "You are now pregnant and will have a son. You shall name him Ishmael, meaning God hears, for the Lord has heard your cry of distress. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers." Then she named the Lord who spoke to her, "You are the God who sees me," for she said, "I have now seen the one who sees me." This is why the well was named Beer-lahai-roi, meaning the well of the living one who sees me. It is still located between Kadesh and Bird. So Hagar bore a son for Abram, and Abram named the boy Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. Genesis chapter 17, verses 1 to 27. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will make a covenant with you, by which I will guarantee to give you countless descendants." At this, Abram fell to his knees, and God talked with him further. "Yes, I am making my covenant with you," God said. "Your descendants will be very numerous. From now on your name will not be Abram, for I am making you a father of many nations. Your name will be Abraham. I will give you great fame. I will make you a father of many nations. Yes, I will guarantee my covenant between me and you, and your descendants throughout all generations, to be an everlasting covenant. I will be your God and the God of your descendants after you. And I will give you and your descendants the land in which you are living, all the land of Canaan, as your possession, and I will be their God forever." Then God said to Abraham, "You must be careful to obey all of these commands, to obey my covenant, you and all your descendants forever. This is my covenant with you and your descendants, which you must keep. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You must be circumcised, and this will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. Every male child in your family must be circumcised when he is 8 days old, including those born in your household or bought from a foreigner. Yes, those who are not your offspring. Whether they are born in your household or bought, they must be circumcised. My covenant will be marked in your flesh as an everlasting covenant. Any male who fails to be circumcised will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant." Then God said to Abraham, "As for Sarai your wife, do not call her Sarai any longer. Her name will be Sarah, and I will bless her and give you a son by her. Yes, I will bless her richly, and she will become the mother of many nations. Kings of nations shall come from her." Then Abraham bowed to the ground, but he laughed to himself in disbelief and said, "How could a 100-year-old man have a baby? And how could Sarah, 90 years old, have a baby?" And Abraham said to God, "If only Ishmael might live under your blessing." But God said, "No, your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will name him Isaac. I will establish my everlasting covenant with him and with his descendants after him. But as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will certainly bless him and make him fruitful and multiply him greatly. He will father 12 princes, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year." When God finished speaking, he left Abraham. On that very day Abraham took Ishmael and all the other males in his household, whether born there or bought with money from foreigners, and he circumcised them, just as God had told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Both were circumcised the same day. And every male in Abraham's household, including those born there or bought from foreigners, was circumcised. Genesis chapter 18, verses 1 to 33. One day the Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre. Abraham was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. He looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran from his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, "Sire, if it is all right with you, stop here for a while to rest and be refreshed. Let me bring you some water to wash your feet, and you can rest yourselves under this tree. Let me bring you some food to refresh you before you go on your way." They said, "Yes, do as you have said." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, "Quick, get 3 large measures of flour, mix it, and make some bread." Then he ran to the herd and selected one of the finest young calves. He gave it to a servant, who hurried to prepare it. Then he brought curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared, and set these before them, and stood near them under the tree while they ate. "Where is your wife, Sarah?" they asked. "There in the tent," he replied. Then one of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, just behind him. Abraham and Sarah were old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of childbearing. So she laughed silently to herself and said, "How could I have a baby when I am so old? I am 90 years old, and my husband is 100. But the Lord asked Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, 'How could I possibly have a baby when I'm so old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you about this time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was frightened and denied it, saying, "I didn't laugh." But he said, "Oh yes, you did laugh." When the men got up to leave, they looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and mighty nation, and all nations of the earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him, so that he will direct his children and his household after him, to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him." Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sins so grievous, that I am now going down to see if they have done everything as bad as the outcry against them has reached me. If not, I will know." The men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Should not the judge of all the earth do right?" The Lord said, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." Then Abraham spoke up again. "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the 50 righteous are short 5? Will you destroy the whole city because of 5 people? If I find 45 there," he said, "I will not destroy it." Once again he spoke to him, "What if only 40 are found there?" He said, "For the sake of 40, I will not do it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there?" He answered, "For the sake of 30, I will not do it." Abraham said, "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there?" He said, "For the sake of 20, I will not destroy it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there?" He answered, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home.